Okay guys, this is Chris for lovecarreviews.com and got another one for you. So as you normally see, I've started doing a lot of C63 reviews because partly I love them, and yeah, seem to have a lot coming through. So once again, this is a car given to us by Smart Wheel Motors, and it's a C63 non-S coupe, as you can see, white and ready to be prepped. Now that is my one disclaimer, guys. This car has not been prepped yet, so anything you see it's not done, it will get done. But overall, very nice example. So this car, as you can see, has a nice old panoramic roof. Got your black handles there, so they've been switched out. You've got black mirrors as well, very nice on this car. As you can see here, you also have a massive set of 20-inch Riviera 7, 8, 9, 10 spoke alloys, which are obviously not factory. Again, all to be prepped, all to be gut ready for the lucky buyer who's going to own this car. There we go. Now this car, as you can see, has the Edition 1 dawnings. So you've got the nice big stripe there on the bonnet, coming all the way down to the front, which I really like. I had the same thing on my estate a little while ago. And you've got the sides there as well, all AMG Edition 1 stuff. Now the car does have a bit of a tint. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but if you can't see in, then it's tinted. Alright, so that's the outside of the car. Now let's take a quick look at the boot. As this is always a question I get, is how big or deep are the boots on the coupes? I don't know if you can get a proper view of that, but I'm just going to go all the way in. There you go. And all the way back out. So a pretty deep boot as far as boots go for a coupe. Alright, let's take a look inside. So again, the windows, you see there's no rim around the windows, which is nice for a coupe. Now the back windows don't open on this. The E-Class they do, but the C they don't, unfortunately. It would have been nice to have the nice pillarless windows like the old CLKs. So this one does have the Burmeister upgraded stereo. It has the memory seats, which I think are pretty standard in the C63s. Going around, because it's not the S model, you don't get the Alcantara on the steering wheel. But I actually quite like the perforated, because the Alcantara wears out generally quite quickly, which means you end up with a smooth leather that looks like this, but once was Alcantara. So as you can see, just panning around. You've got the two-tone leather seats there, which I think are very nice. The white and black and white perforated seats. Again, no prep done so far, guys, so I'm going to finish up this video once all the prep is done so you can see the difference. Okay, show you the center console down there as well. Okay, so all around it's a nice car. I mean, as I said, prep work to be done, but a nice car all around. Let's see how she's on the road. Okay guys, so we are on the move in the C63. Again, this is the coupe edition. So I've only got your 2 doors and your 4 seats in the back. Now, those who know, as I mentioned before, I will never miss an opportunity to get into a C63 for a drive. And this is no exception at all. Now, again, with the C63, I mean, one of the questions that I always get, apart from the boot size, is how does it compare to driving the saloon or obviously the estate as well. Now I've got the estate and I've had the non-S estate before, which was a great car to drive. It was a white one with a different one awnings, let's call them. And more recently I got the C63S. That's an estate as well. If you check out Love Car Reviews, you'll see my reviews on there where I've reviewed both cars. Now, one thing I did notice, this is not the first coupe I've driven. I was actually looking at other cars before and I stumbled on a C63 Coupe S. Went for a test drive and I was like in love. I'm like, yep, that's definitely a good car I'm going to get. It does definitely drive a bit different to the estate, to the saloon as well. And what I find is when they say it's a little bit stiffer, it handles a little bit better, I tend to agree. It just feels a little bit more planted on the road, a little bit more like I can direct it exactly how I want to, which I find with the estate not quite in the same way that I can do the same thing. Still amazing cars, don't get me wrong, but I think with the coupe I just feel a little bit more assured in terms of where I am on the road and what I'm doing. So from that perspective, yep, I think the handling is definitely a bit better. And if you notice at the back, the car has a different chassis to the others, so it's a bit wider. They've actually made the back a bit wider for the coupes to give you again a little bit more assurance in your handling. Get out of here. Aside from that, I mean, generally speaking, it's relatively business as usual for the C63. And as I'm sitting in here, apart from the fact that I've got carbon fibre in the estate that I have, it's more or less the same car. I mean, everything's in the same place. I don't feel like I'm missing anything or I'm driving a completely different car. In terms of comfort, in terms of space, the seats are different. So of course you get a special seat here in the coupe. You get your seatbelt handed to you as well, which is rather nice little touch. But again, it's very, very similar all round. I think the roof line feels slightly different, so it feels like a little bit lower in terms of roof line on this car compared to the estate. I might be wrong. The last review I did, I was sure that I was sitting a little bit lower in the coupe than I am in my estate. But again, looking at it now, I might actually be wrong on that one. But yeah, you've got a decent amount of space. That I'm 5'10", I've got enough space shoulder-wise. Leg space is always in the C-Class. If they give you oodles and oodles of leg space, that's never ever a problem. And I feel comfortable. It's a very easy car to drive from my perspective. Obviously, oodles of power. You've got, I think, 476, 479 horsepower in the non-S, and you have around 510 in the S model. So tons of power on tap. Whenever you're ready to go, the car will go. And again, if you put your foot down, the car reacts and it's off. So that's what I really like about the C-Class and C63s, is that they've got tons of power and you can get it down in a pretty usable way these days. Now compared to the previous 6.2 litre, I think you've got a bit more stability and a bit more, let's call it assurance, in the new coupes and the new models of the C63, because they reconfigured the chassis and done a lot of work to give you slightly better, or say slightly, much better handling, and it lets you enjoy the car a little bit more. Because when I had the C6.2 C63 and I couldn't even get out of my driveway on a slightly greasy day without spinning everywhere. It was a nightmare. And on the motorway, if you put your foot down a little bit at any speed, the car would start spinning. And you don't really want to be doing that at 60, 70 miles an hour. So it wasn't always the easiest. It's an amazing car, don't get me wrong. Absolutely love that car. And I'd probably buy it again in a heartbeat. But it didn't give you the same kind of driving feel and experience that this car offers you, which I think is one of the key differences. Here. Now the other obvious thing with the coupes is you're missing a seat. So in the back, the coupe has only 4 seats, sorry, 2 seats in the back, rather than 4. However, not a major problem. They are pretty comfortable. I found from my experience that the headroom in the back was a little bit tight for me, just a little bit. I can get in, I've got headroom, but I feel like I'm quite close to that limit. So a couple more inches, I might be touching the roof a little bit. But aside from that, as I said, there's tons of space. It's a comfortable car. Really enjoy driving it, and yeah, it's a great experience all around. Now this particular car, they're in the process of prepping. So you saw they had the edition 1 additions on it. They've got the alloys have been upgraded to the Riviera 20-inch Rivieras. Now handles have been changed. They've painted the handles, and I believe they're looking to do a couple more bits around it. So I think you might end up finding a front splitter. You might have a rear spoiler. AMG badges, I believe, will go back on, the V8 bi-turbo badges. So you have a few things that will change a little bit just to make the car, just to finish off the car in a really nice way. As I said, great car. It's available now, pre-prep, and yeah, definitely a great car. And if you have any more questions, give me a shout. But we will do another review, or finish off this review once the car is fully prepped. We'll do another walk around the car, see exactly how it looks at that point. You guys can get a view of what the car actually is all about.